Blessings, beautiful people. It's Terracore. Hope you're doing well. I wanted to do a video today on a topic that I get asked a lot of questions about, and it's the challenges of freeforming. So I'm just getting comfortable now. I'm gonna go out in a minute, but first I'm eating some brunch. I'll show you my brunch actually. So I'm just getting some work done and listening to this Kundalini Yoga live concert. But yeah, that's my brunch. It's like spicy chickpeas with sesame seeds and chia and some courgette. I know it might be a bit much in the morning for some people, but some people like baked beans, so that's my breakfast for today. So yeah, I think I really need to get a tripod because I can see that from my videos they're not always as steady as I'd like them to be, so bear with me as I just go through this transition of getting a tripod. I know it sounds really basic, but anyway, this is real life. So today's video is about freeforming and the challenges that I've found over the years of freeforming, what's come up for me and how I've dealt with it. So I'm talking from experience, especially from my first set of locks. So I had my first set of locks from 2001 to 2013, and the second year in, I decided just to freeform. So yeah, that's more or less 10 plus years of freeforming. I'm semi-freeforming now, and I like that journey, I like that route, but I'm kind of just going with the flow at the moment. But this is for anyone who's maybe thinking about fully freeforming, and just sharing my experiences of what came up as well. So the first thing you can probably relate to as well is hands in lock disease. So that sounds a bit dramatic, but basically it's just fiddling around with your hands in your hair all the time, playing around with the roots. And I'm one of those annoying people that I always have to have something in my hand. I have to have a pen in my hand, I have to fiddle with something, you know. I'm just a very restless person, even though sometimes I don't come across as being very restless. But one of the things that I find really challenging is I will always put my hands in my new growth and just feel them out. And sometimes I would even catch myself just twirling the roots around the nearest lock. And if you're freeforming, you're not really supposed to, or it's not part of the journey, it's not part of maintaining your roots. Your roots are supposed to just do their own thing, maybe separate once in a while, but they're not supposed to be manipulated in any way to join any locks. So even now when I'm doing semi-free forming, I don't actually maintain my roots. It's just because I tend to put my hands in my roots all the time that it just kind of happens naturally. So when I maintain them, it just happens that way. When I was free forming, that was a big challenge for me. Yeah, that was definitely a huge challenge for me, just to keep my hands occupied with other things. So I'm a big fan of using mudras now. I used to bite my fingers, so yeah, that's another story. But yeah, I use mudras, which is basically using hand placements in yoga and meditation, and I find that really helps me. The second thing that I find challenging is not so much within myself, but I think it was maybe a reflection of myself through others, if that makes any sense. And this was at the very beginning, when I was just coming around to deciding to accept my journey fully. And this was at a time where there wasn't that many lock videos and pictures and that sort of thing, so I really didn't know how or what was going to come out of this journey. I just knew I just wanted to let my locks do its thing, and I wanted to accept my journey fully. And people's reactions were interesting. Yeah, they were super interesting. Some people looked at me like, I mean, apart from maybe some of the stereotypes of having locks being untidy, some people just thought I was being plain lazy with my lock care for choosing this route. And time again, I don't explain to everybody, but those who were nearest to me who felt that way, I felt like I had to explain that this was actually a conscious choice. This was a choice that I was making so that I could fully accept my hair. So people's reactions are always something that triggers something within me. Nowadays I don't really care, but back in the day, especially the first year when I was getting into freeforming, it was something that really did bother me. But you just get used to it. I think if you choose this journey and this is something you want to do, anything in life really, you know, you stick to it, you will be challenged to see if that's something that you want to do in your life, and if you really want to do it, sooner or later you'll realize you're not really bothered about other people's opinions, and people actually start to realize that their comments don't really count anyway. So I know that sounds really harsh, but you have to do what's right for you, and if you're not hurting anyone else, then I don't see what the problem is. The third thing is, might be a bit controversial, so I'm not saying this to offend anyone, and I'm also not putting down the natural hair community online, because I've seen it grow since 2001, when it was basically nothing. And I just remember back in the day, for those of you who were natural back then, naturality in the forums, that was probably the only place I could think of where you can go online and share your experiences. But apart from that, there wasn't much going on, and then it just grew. And especially, I'd say, in the last 7 years, the natural hair community, people are making a lot of money, people are sharing a lot of pictures, people are really expanding, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful thing, and I really encourage that. So I have nothing but love for the natural hair community. But saying that, I still feel there is a long way to go in terms of people sharing as a woman and as a freeform locker. I think these two things, there seems to be not as many people out there representing being a woman with freeform locks and really rocking it. And there are the few who are out there I absolutely love. For example, Valerie June, Ladine Clark. These are the women who really have the most stunning freeform locks, and they actually kept me going. Especially Valerie June, back in the day before she was well known for her music. Now, this was like, again, back in 2003, 2004. She was probably the only lady that I could see with freeform locks, and then Lauryn Hill came about, and I think she freeforms, and yeah, Lauryn Hill was another one, but there still isn't that many women out there who do freeform. I see a lot of guys freeforming, but when a woman freeforms, it just doesn't seem to be such a common thing, and I'd love to see more freeform lockers out there. And this comes to my next challenge as well, and this also is connected to the whole natural hair community, especially the lock community. Again, maybe a little bit controversial, but I just have to be honest about my opinions. I don't watch lock videos that often, just because I don't really maintain my locks, I don't really style my locks, so I don't really feel the need to go to watch lock videos, and occasionally I do, but the few times that I have done, and these are from well-known lockers online on the YouTube channel, they who maintain their roots, by the way, they're not freeform, they do maintain their roots, but when they talk about their roots growing out, sometimes I feel like the language doesn't seem so positive. It's almost like, oh my god, my roots are coming out, you know, like all the frizz is showing, you know, is that kind of language in just a very few places on from the lock community that I feel, I don't know, again, something inside of me does get triggered, because it's something that I had to work so hard on in the very beginning of freeforming, just to accept that natural hair can be frizzy, you know, just to accept how the roots come out, to embrace the frizz, to not have to expect your locks to be a certain way. Yeah, so the negative language about having unmaintained roots from not many people, but from some people in the lock community, still triggers me in many ways. And I feel like natural hair is such a beautiful thing, you know. It kind of almost reminds me of back in the day. I used to relax my hair for 2 years, And the language the language that sometimes people use to talk about their nappy hair coming out, and oh God, I have to straighten my hair, I have to get the relaxer back in, it almost feels like that sort of language to me. I know maybe that sounds again very dramatic and a bit controversial to say, but I would really like the language to be different when it comes to embracing frizz. You know, not everyone has defined curls. Not everyone has a set curl pattern. Not everyone wants to maintain their roots. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know, and there's nothing wrong with having really beautiful loose root hairs, you know, when you're locking. There's nothing wrong with that. But still, I feel like there is a way to go when it comes to explaining that in the natural hair community, in the lock community. And again, maybe this is because there's not that many people out there with freeform locks who are women and who are out there and showing and really sharing their journey fully. But the ones who do, again, I really love how they just own it. They own their locks, they own their journey, they own the frizziness, they own every single part of the journey. And this is why I enjoy freeforming. I enjoyed fully freeforming, and I'm going again towards that route as well now, because yeah, all these challenges have come up and it's shown me so many different lessons and aspects of myself. And the last challenge I would say is this whole idea of beauty. What is beauty? What is being feminine? Just because you're not maintaining your roots as a freeform locker, does that mean you're not feminine, or that you don't really care about your appearance or the way you look? You can say that about a lot of things. Just because you don't wear makeup that much, does that mean you're not feminine? Just because you don't wear skirts or appear feminine, or traditionally what feminine is, does that mean you're less beautiful or less feminine? I think the definition of feminine has come a long way. There's just so many people out there, not just for freeform locks, not just for natural hair, but for so many different aspects of what beauty is being represented. And there's almost like two extremes. You get the extreme where everything is airbrushed, everything has to be a certain way, and then you get the other extreme where people are just letting it all go and saying, I'm beautiful. And to be honest, that's probably the place I love the most. And this is what I love to see more about women out there, especially if they're freeforming, just owning it and feeling beautiful and showing everyone that you can be feminine, you can be extremely beautiful, you can just radiate, you know, from a place that isn't what you call traditionally feminine in society, or what society perceives or looks at as being a feminine person. Femininity is so much more. It's how you feel, how you radiate, how you interact energy-wise with the world around you. It's an energy in itself, and this is a whole other topic, but there's this beautiful movement of the divine feminine energy rising anyway, you know, and this is being reflected in so many different ways. So as a freeform locker, I feel like it's almost an expression of just accepting our natural hair in this form, and choosing to just make it an expression of who we are, and just embracing it. Again, just being really embracing of the whole journey, every single part of it, every single part that makes you and what grows out of your crown chakra, and just radiating with love and from the heart, you know, from the heart in such a beautiful way. And I feel like when you show up to places, or when you show up to the world in general every single day, radiating from a place where you're accepting yourself more fully, not just for your freeform locks, but also for what you do, what your mission is, what you feel is you're connected to. I think this really makes a huge impact, you know. It doesn't seem like a lot, but when you show up with that kind of energy, people, and opportunities and maybe law of attraction, if you believe in that. It does make things and pave things in such a beautiful way, and the universe responds. Again, you can use a different word for the universe. Yeah, the divine goddess, whatever energy, whatever thing you want to replace that word with, it does respond because you choose consciously to put your confidence out there in a certain way. And again, going back to Freeform Locks, I think this is one of the things that I learned most, and I'm still learning. It's not easy. I'm not going to say every single day I feel like some amazing Kali goddess, you know. No, God, no. There are days where I feel really crap, but that's part of the journey, and just embracing every single part of it is so essential. I think it's just such a big, beautiful thing, and the world needs more of that. The world needs more women embracing who they are and their own choices. If you choose to freeform lock, I feel this is a choice, a conscious choice, and it's just a beautiful choice to make as well. So yeah, just off the top of my head, these are some of the challenges and some of the ways that I kind of dealt with it over the years. Please feel free to leave your comments below. Some of the stuff might trigger you, I don't know. I hope it does, because that's a good thing. I think anytime we watch a video and something gets triggered within us, whether it's challenging or positive, that's always a good thing. So feel free to leave your comments below and let me know what you think about this topic as well. I'm gonna head back to eating my my brunch, and I will make a new video soon. So take care of yourself, enjoy your day, whatever you're doing. Sat Nam, take care.